Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's me, Joel C, back with week 4 of my followers on TikTok, or I should say Instagram, pick my makeup look for me. And this week's look I want to say is a little bit more on the simpler side. I feel like it's going to be pretty easy to get this accomplished. You know, if you have a blue shimmer, a matte black, and a matte green, I feel like you're good to go. You know what I mean? I feel so. Just come along with me. Go ahead, come along with me. Come on. I know those aren't the actual lyrics to that song, but y'all know. I think this might also be the first time that I'm wearing these contacts on this channel, and I bet they look a little crazy in high def and, you know, with all this light on me. So needless to say, I do wear TTD eye contacts, and if you're ever looking to, you know, save 10% on there, you can just use It's Me, Joel C, and no, I don't make any money off of it because I'm not trying to make money off of you like that, like what? But again, welcome back to the channel. And if you are not subscribed, make sure that you go ahead and just give that little click for me, and then go ahead and follow it with a little secondary click on that notification bell so that you can be notified of every weekly video that I do. And also, y'all, I say weekly, but we might be looking at other segments to add to this channel. What do y'all think? I'm thinking some music, and I'm also thinking some gaming, because I'm a video gamer as well, and I feel like y'all would get a kick out of watching me do gaming and all of that good stuff. So, I don't know. Y'all let me know. Sound off in the comments. Are y'all here for that? Would y'all be here for that kind of content? I mean, that would be a lot of work, because this is already a lot of work, but y'all know what I mean. Like, if y'all would live for it and watch it, I'd do it. You know, I would do it for y'all. But needless to say, we're gonna go ahead and get started with this eye look by priming the eye, and I'm gonna go in with the P. Louise base in Rumor 02, or it's the Rumor base in shade 2. However the hell you're supposed to say it, I never know what the hell to say. I'm taking that onto a Morphe M518 brush, and I'm gonna go ahead and just prime the lid, prime the lid, prime the lid, prime the lid, ayy. Trying to keep myself all up in the frame, period. Oh my God, I'm so mad at myself. I definitely just got started with this look, and I didn't even tell y'all what we were doing. We're doing this look right here.
That blue represents millions of dollars and countless jobs.
All right, so now that we have that lid space nice and primed up, I'm gonna be using the James Charles palette with Morphe today, and I'm gonna be first dipping into the shade, let's see here, Playground. I'm gonna apply Playground with a Morphe M224. It is a pretty large, round, fluffy blending brush. I'm using that so that I can get a large wash of color over a wider area. That's gonna go ahead and just give me a slow buildup of saturation, and I wanna go ahead and apply that to the innermost portion here and also the outermost portion of the eye. All right, and now you should have something that's a little similar to this. I know you gotta trust the process with looks like this. They look a little messy and they look a little crazy before they come to kind of like a structural moment, so don't worry. And also, it's just makeup, y'all. It's just some color. You know what? If you fail, you just wipe it off. You can try again, or try again tomorrow, or whatever the case may be. But it's just makeup. Don't be afraid. Experiment. Be bold. Play with color. All right, so the next shade I'm going to go ahead and have us dip into is going to be the shade Social Blade, which is like that nice kind of like lime green, but it's not really a lime green. It's like a muted kind of lime green. It's a lighter green. And I'm taking that onto a Morphe 518. And it's one of my favorite brushes, as you can see. And we're gonna go ahead and just apply that into this portion of the brow bone area. As I'm going in with that green, I am going in with the brush that I had that initial blue shade on, and I'm just making sure that that is well blended with that green. You hear my, I feel like whenever I'm just talking to y'all on here, I sound so crazy. We don't want anything to look too harsh. We want that to look real good and seamless and blended, so that everything just looks really cohesive.
But stop following white boys with muscles for no reason.
All right, so now that I have Social Blade nice and laid in there, which is that green that's, you know, bridging the two blues, I'm gonna go in with a Morphe M506, which is a small little like bullet blending brush, so to speak. And I'm gonna go in with the shade, let's see here, Cola. And I'm gonna go ahead and deposit that navy blue just into the inner portions of the eye here. All right, so now that we have Cola all laid into that first primary blue shade, we're gonna go ahead into a Smashbox 30. We're not gonna go into a Smashbox 30, but you know what I mean. We're gonna go into the next shade with a Smashbox 30, and that next shade is gonna be Daddy. Daddy. We're gonna go ahead and put that into, again, this brow bone area. So we're gonna transition that first Social Blade green shade into now this darker green shade. All right, so now that we have that green shade, Daddy, all up into the brow bone there, transitioning those blues together, I'm gonna go in with a Morphe M224, and I'm gonna go into the shade Spooky, which is the black in the pan, which is the black inside of the palette. And we're gonna go ahead and pack that on like so. And you see how we're just gonna go ahead and slowly creep that up? The reason I chose this brush is because it has a fluffy end, which means that the way that it creeps up is not gonna be like a crisp line, which is great because like in case I make a mistake and I go too far up. All right, so you see how that looks now. It looks really intense and really crazy, but nonetheless, we're gonna tone it back. Just bear with me, y'all. Just come along with me. See, that's the theme song for this video. It's a theme. All right, and by now you should have something that looks like this. So again, I know it looks a little scary, but don't worry, we're almost at the tail end of this. And at this point, this is where we can go ahead and you can put any glitter or shimmer of your liking. Just make sure that you put like a glitter primer. I'm gonna be using the NYX or NYX, however the hell you're supposed to say it. Pretty sure it's NYX. Glitter primer, and that's gonna go ahead and go on to where I put down the black base. So I put down a black base before I go in with my loose pigment now, and I'm gonna be using an Inglot loose pigment. The reason I put this down first is because it goes on very, very saturated. My loose pigments go on super beautifully when I go in with my glitter primers first. So like I said, you all, I'm gonna go in with my NYX glitter primer, and I'm just gonna go ahead and prime my lids. I just go in with my finger, and I make sure to bring that all the way up to my brow bone. Since we blended this dark shade and all these darks pretty high up, I'm gonna go ahead and bring that light blue shimmer that I'm about to go in with, I'm gonna bring that up pretty high as well, because I'm gonna go ahead and basically just make my whole lid space glow. And you'll see what I mean in a second. And like I said, I'm gonna be going in with an Inglot loose pigment, but you can go in with any blue shimmer or basically anything you'd like to go ahead and just put into this. I'm just going in with a light blue shimmer. This particular shade of loose pigment from Inglot is 114. They go by like numbers for their shades. So that is what I'm going in with. To get that pigment onto my eye, I'm gonna be using a Morphe M456 brush, which is a fluffy but kind of a flat tip brush at the same time. As you can see, the pigment just latches on immediately. All right, and once you're done, you should have a stunning, stunning little moment like this, you know? And feel free to experiment. You can toss a purple in there, a gold in there. You know, like I said, you can pretty much put any color or any shimmer to your liking, any loose pigment that you like to, you know, throw on every now and then. Even a pink would have gone well with this. I mean, you know me, I'm crazy with color. But for now, I'm gonna continue on with the look, and we're gonna add a little, you know, brow highlight. So I'm gonna go ahead with the shade Hello, and I'm using a Morphe E62 brush to apply this. And I'm gonna go ahead and just toss this right here, just to really bring home that blue under the highlight bone there. Under the highlight bone, listen, y'all just gonna have to give me a pass. This week, just full pass. Full pass on that ass. All right, now that we have that shimmer in the brow area, I'm gonna go in with my Sephora Long Lasting Kohl Pencil, and I'm gonna go ahead and put that into my lower waterline here. All right, and the last finishing touch in the eye area is going to be to go ahead and I'm gonna take a little dab of the glitter primer, put it right here into my tear duct area. And we're gonna go ahead and pop that same shimmer that we used in the core of the eye and just pop that right there. All right, so now that we're pretty much done with the eye look, the only thing that's left to do is, you know, this area right here, right underneath the lower lash line. But before I do that, I'm just gonna go ahead and do the rest of my base first. So I'm gonna go ahead, put some I'm gonna go ahead and put some facial oil on. Just to let you all know what I'm using today, I'm gonna be using the Good Molecules Ultra Hydrating Facial Oil, and I'm also gonna be following up with the Beauty Bakerie Wake and Bake Baking Oil. So I'm gonna be using both of these and just making sure that I have a nice, good oil base. I know I'm gonna look like an oil slick when I come back, but needless to say, that's what I'm gonna be doing. It's always interesting to see how much fallout you don't see. Now that I have all of that beauty oil in place, I'm gonna be going in with a grip primer. So I like grip primers because they tend to keep my foundation in place. I know they don't work for everybody. I'm gonna be using one from a good friend of mine. Her name is Ellice Darien, and she has her own cosmetics line. She was kind enough to send me this grip primer, and it's made from aloe apparently. So I'm gonna go ahead and prime with that. It goes on pretty thick. However, it tends to make my, you know, makeup kind of look very natural. So I'm gonna go ahead, like I said, and just prime with this, and I'm gonna look very shiny when I'm done with this. All right, so now that I have my face all primed up, I'm gonna be using the Revlon Photo Ready Candid Glow Moisture Glow Anti-Pollution Foundation. And as you can see, y'all, I am almost done. I love this stuff so much. So I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna put just a couple pumps on the back of my hands, and I'm gonna take a Beauty Bakerie Sophisticoked stippling brush. I'm gonna go ahead and use that to apply it all over the face. By the way, you all, the shade that I use in my foundation is the shade 510, and that is the shade Cappuccino. So now to contour, I'm actually gonna do something a little different than I usually do. So I'm gonna be going in with the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Foundation. It's gonna be in the shade 358 Latte. I'm gonna be taking some of that and applying that as my contour today. And I'm gonna be using a Morphe M224. As you can see, it's just a flat tip synthetic brush. And I'm gonna apply that onto the planes that I would normally go in with my powder contour, because I normally do my contour after I set my makeup with powder. So I'm gonna try this today, see if I like it any better. All right, so now I'm gonna take a damp beauty sponge, and this is gonna be the Beauty Bakerie sponge that I'm using here. I'm taking the underside of that. I'm gonna go ahead and buff that out now. So I'm not gonna lie, I do feel like that looks a lot more natural. Like right now, I feel like that is so much, I feel like that's just so much better. I mean, I feel like I still might need to go in with a powder, depending on how it looks after I set it. I don't know if it'll still look this natural and this contrasted when I blend it. Hopefully it picks up on camera, but I do think it looks good for even in real life. So definitely might need to keep doing this in future. All right, so now that I have gone ahead and contoured and blended that all out, I'm gonna go in with the Beauty Bakerie Instabake 3-in-1 Concealer, and this is in the shade 010 Butter Back Off. Just gonna take a little bit of this and apply it right here. With this particular concealer, I will only do it in sections because it sets pretty quickly. So I'm just gonna go in now, make sure this is blended out. As you can see now, I am just finishing applying some Made by Mitchell blush, and this is in the shade Cherry Cola. And as you can see, this stuff is no joke. A couple drops and you are just on your way, girl, on your way. All right, so now that we have that blush all blended in and everything, I'm just gonna take a flat chisel tip brush like this, like a little smudger brush, and I'm gonna go ahead into the shade Playground again. Actually, you know what? No, I changed my mind. I'm gonna go in with the shade Daddy, and I'm gonna use that in the lower lash line. Now I'm gonna take Playground and just do a little wash of color underneath that green. All right, so now that I have that base nice and blended, I'm gonna go ahead and set it all in place now. And I'm gonna be using the Ellice Darien Before or After Powder. It's my first time using this, so hopefully it's a success. Picking that up on my Morphe E49 brush. So make sure to set all this into place. Now this is a tan powder, but hopefully it's not too light for me. Now that powder is extremely brightening. As you can see, I was not ready for that. So, you know, today we're gonna look very, you know, very sculpted. But in future, you know, definitely be weary of the powders that you put on. Sometimes they could really lighten you up. So, you know, for today, it's just gonna have to do. I actually think it's a great powder. I mean, I do have a little bit of a hole here, but I mean, that could be technically from, I mean, it could be a multitude of things, to be honest with you. So I wouldn't really put that on the powder per se. It could have been, you know, the primer with the foundation, with the skincare. I mean, it could have literally been any of those reasons. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of that, put it right here just to make this a little cohesive. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bronze it up just to, you know, get rid of some of that like ashiness, because there's probably gonna be flashback from it and we don't want that. All right, so now to try and warm up the face, I'm gonna be using the Endless Summer Bronzer by Physicians Formula. And I'm gonna be taking that onto my Morphe M224 brush. Like I said, we're just gonna try and get some of that warmth back into those areas. As you can see, what I'm doing is I'm taking the bronzer and just toning down how bright that under eye is. Not something I would normally, you know, recommend doing, but we're just, like I said, we're toning it down. So it's not as ashy, not too bright. A little lightenings's okay. We just don't want anything too crazy. All right, so hopefully it's not looking too crazy on camera. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take one more dot here of this blush, and I'm just gonna go ahead and blend that in a little bit more, just to make sure that warmth and that shade is not lost there. By the way, the brush that I'm using to blend out my blush is the Moda brush, and it is their complexion brush. Just applying some mascara. This is the Covergirl Clump Crusher Mascara. Please excuse this powder on my nose as I am so skillful with my mascara application that I got a big old dot right there, side of my nose. Like big and bold and ready to go, girl. Not even subtle. All right, we did the best that we could to go ahead and recover from that situation. So at this point, it is what it is, girl. All right, so now I'm just gonna pop on some lashes real quick, and I'm gonna be using the Eyelure London Luxe XL Faux Mink lashes. So I'm gonna be using these. Here's the style so you can see what we're dealing with here. These look gorgeous, so I can't wait to pop these on and see how they look with this look. I usually use my Tarte lash glue, but let's go ahead and use this Eyelure lash glue and see how it fares. I just set that first lash off to the side while I prep the second lash now. Wow, that is a stunning lash. Oh wow, that is beautiful. That is so beautiful. So beautiful. I might have found a new favorite lash, y'all. What is that? Also, for being the lash glue that came with the lashes, I mean, girl, this is pretty good. Take that back, spoke too soon. So I'm just gonna take that lash glue that I always use, which is the Tarte lash glue. I'm gonna put that on there. The other side went on just fine, but for some reason, this side was just like, girl, I need a little extra moral support. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and toss some highlight onto these cheeks, and I'm gonna go in with Morphe's highlight in the shade Spark. And to apply that, I'm gonna go in with a Morphe M310 fan brush. All right, so as you can see, I have gone ahead and put that highlight onto the cheeks, looking real cute. I'm gonna put some low light on so you can see how this looks. Look at that. Yes. All right, so now all that's left to do is the lips. So I'm gonna go in with Line Crime's lip primer, and this is called Ghost Veil. And I bought this a while back and I wanna finish using it. And it's the first lip primer I use, you guys, that like, it does like this weird, like, I don't know, it's like a powder tackiness. And then we just let that set for a second. All right, so now that the lips are all set with the primer, I'm gonna go in with Morphe's Sweet Tea Color Pencil. And I'm gonna go ahead and line the lips now. All right, so that shade wasn't entirely working for me, so I am switching to the NYX Suede Matte Lip Liner, and this is in the shade Downtown Beauty. All right, so now that I have the lips all lined up, I'm gonna go in with the Lime Crime Lip Blaze, and this is in the shade Cash. And this is a gorgeous, kind of like a peachy nude, very, very light peachy nude. And I'm gonna go ahead and apply that. I love the way these smell. They smell so like herbal and I just love their smell. All right, and last thing I'm gonna do is toss a gloss onto this lip. So I'm gonna be using the Morphe Madison Beer Clear Lip Gloss. Use any clear gloss of your choosing. And I'm gonna take a couple dollops of this. That's like kind of like my trick with any gloss. So take a couple dollops, put it on the back of my hand, and then get a nice good glop onto my lips. And as you can see, that really just, that makes the lip look so sexy. So now you know what the next step is. We're gonna set this face, baby. And I'm gonna go ahead and lock this into place with the Milk Hydro Grip Set and Refresh Spray. I love that spray so much, only because I just feel like it just gives me the look of my skin back. After all the powder, after all the foundation, you know, after everything I've done, all that heavy glam, I just love it because it makes my skin look so good. Like right now, I'm gonna low light it again. Like my skin looks like dewy. Like, oh my gosh, I love it so much. But nonetheless, this is the finished look, so hopefully you all like it and love it. So if you do like this and you've been enjoying this series, make sure that you smash that thumbs up below, and also make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified of all future weekly videos. And while you're at it, make sure that you're following me on my other platforms. You're missing out on other content if it's that you love the content that I create. So make sure that you follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and on TikTok at It's Me, JoelC. Other than that, like I always like to sign off with you guys. If you're having a shitty week, hopefully it's a better weekend. And if it's a shitty weekend, hopefully it's a better week. And if none are going well for you, then I'm rooting for you, bitch. I'm rooting for you. But I'm sending you tons and tons and tons of love and warmth and light. So I will see you all next week. Bye.